Kary Zate, Senior Director of Marketing Communications at Locus Robotics, and Christina Gorini, Vice President at Fin Partners, talks to host Doug Simon on PR's Top Pros Talk.
Kary, let's get started with you as a warehouse automation company in a very competitive B2B space. How do you go about getting consumer attention?
In our business, we're really more of a B2B function per se, but it kind of walks in a parallel universe in the sense that, we're certainly trying to attract the attention of warehouse operators that we deal with directly. But also we're playing in an arena and with technology that the consumers are interested in and curious about. So a lot of the messaging that we tend to try to create is directed towards the warehouse operators for business development efforts. But we also want to portray warehouse robotics automation that we focus on as a positive and a valuable resource that's being added to the marketplace. So that's a central focus to a lot of our messaging.
Yeah, and Christina, what are some of the creative strategies that you're using to generate buzz beyond what might be considered traditional approaches?
So for 2025, we are actually embarking on an influencer campaign, which some might think is a little out of the ordinary for a warehouse robotics automation company. But there are so many amazing thought leaders and influencers in the industry, and that we want to tap into them. Our goal for 2025 is always been our goal is to show, at Locus, we have a mantra of seeing is believing. So we want as many people as possible to have eyeballs on what is happening inside the warehouse, since so much of their daily products get shipped to them that way.
To add to that, to Christina's comments, that the influencers themselves, it's not a social influencer in the sense that we see on the consumer side. It is very much a thought leadership activity. And we focus a lot of our activity in getting our executive leaders to be involved in that kind of community. But we also want to create a kind of a second layer outside of that, where we're able to use the influence of those influencers and the audience that they reach as a way to kind of develop a thought leadership program that positions Locus in a very positive way. And as an industry leader, saying we have a really strong voice in this industry, and we want people to understand where we're coming from, because I think, as Christina was saying, not many people have an insight into what's happening in the warehouse. There's just this black box that products come out of when you click on the website and it suddenly shows up at your door. No one knows what goes on behind that. And so, without knowledge, you have speculation, and that isn't necessarily always positive. So our goal is really to try to have more influence and to some degree control the narrative around robotics automation and warehousing.
Yeah, I like the idea of combining sort of the influencers with your own leadership. And we've been seeing that trend. Stations tell us when we're booking media interviews, they prefer to interview someone with the organization by a 3-to-1 margin. So that definitely has a lot of impact. Christina, what is your take on sort of finding that balance and generating exposure, utilizing both the leaders and influencers? How can that work in tandem?
For us, it's going to be very easy to do it together, and we have been doing that for, many years since Locus began. But luckily, late last year, Locus created this state-of-the-art office in Wilmington, Massachusetts called Locus Park. And under one roof, I have all the executives I need to be my subject matter experts in their respective fields. And then I'm able to invite influencers and people of the community and media into this space where they really can see what Locus is about. They've created a demo floor, a space where it's like a warehouse that you can see the robots in action. So for me, it's again that seeing is believing type of approach. And thanks to Locus's forward thinking of creating this space, I have something like an innovation center at my fingertips that I'm able to use. So I'm able to do that in tandem, and it's great. We're very, very lucky.
Let's talk about measuring success. Because obviously you want to grow sales. That's a key part of these, and create awareness, create value in the organization. Does it get harder to measure sort of what's causing the success, what's leading to, when you've got all these different types of elements interacting? And is it important to separate them out?
In our case, going back to the seeing is believing aspect, the one thing that we've spent a lot of energy on over the last few years is doing a lot of video testimonials from our customers. And those play a big role in people understanding what we do and how we do it because it validates the operation. Warehouse robotics in general is a relatively young industry overall. And it's a lot of folks really don't understand how robotics is actually used, what capabilities they have specifically in the warehouse or in other cases. And there's always these misconceptions that, well, you create a robot, it does X, and it's just a simple thing, and it's just like a human. It is an incredibly complicated industry, and it's growing by leaps and bounds. But the fact that we can show a deployment, for example, that is actually operational says a lot about what we do and how we do it, that it's a proven technology, not a here's a great idea approach.
Right.
Let's see what happens. And warehouse operators in our industry are incredibly pragmatic. If it works, fine. If
Right.
it saves me time, it saves me money, you're a hero. They have been burned many, many times in the past with great ideas that just didn't pan out. And so they're very, very gun shy. So like I said, we spend a lot of energy using our existing customers as the voice of our business, but we also want to show the fact that we are the industry leaders in helping direct and partner with those customers.
And Christina, any final thoughts on for others if they have a B2B account that sort of is unique in that it does touch everyone's life? Like I'm wondering if my doorbell's going to ring and a package is going to be arriving in the next 10 minutes. The strategies that you take, any advice for companies, even if they're starting the relationship to make it
No.
effective?
My biggest advice for any campaign is just really working internally with your client's team, connecting those dots, getting underneath the hood, spending valuable time in during input sessions is just so vital. I am lucky enough to have worked with Locus even before my time at Finn. So I'm very fortunate to have like a strong background and know the business very well. But even the team that was newer to the subject matter, that, they applying it to your life, connecting those personal dots, that helps us have this faceted approach. And then working closely with your internal team, I can't stress that enough. If you guys are in tandem, really magic can really happen. So it's important.
Well, it's clear that the two of you have a great connection. I'm going to go grab that package that was just delivered, but it's been great to speak with you.
Thanks so much, Doug.
Thank you.